Cavs and the rest of the NBA on the All-Star break. Kendrick Perkins, NBA Today crew, talks about the Cavs and where they feel they stand in the Eastern Conference.
Donovan Mitchell, he scored 30 points. The Cavs rallied from down 17 to beat the Bulls. Cleveland is now 18-2 in their last 20 games. So, Perk, are we sleeping on the Cavs' playoffs outlook?
No, the simple fact that we've seen this movie before with a Donovan Mitchell-led team. We watched Donovan Mitchell in Utah have great regular seasons, and all of a sudden they dropped the ball in the postseason. So we got to see this in the postseason.
Well, Donovan Mitchell would agree with you. So let's take a look at the standings, right? Heading into All-Star break, the Eastern Conference, it looks like this. Plenty of teams sort of bunched up after the Celtics atop the standings. The Cavs, they've made a furious push ahead of the Bucks, the Knicks, the 76ers. And we know the Celtics are all the way at the head of the pack right now. You have a couple of teams that are sort of lurking. The Knicks, we talked about their injuries a little bit. But as you look at the second half of the season, Brian, your biggest question is what?
Yeah, obviously there's a fight for the 2 seed because that pack of teams is pretty close together talent-wise, and you want to get the home court, you want to get the play-in team in the first round. And then I think it's going to be a fight for the 3 seed because if you're the 4 seed, that means you got to face Boston probably in that second round. You want to avoid the Celtics, who are playing brilliant basketball right now.
Tom, that's a fair assessment. But, you know, relative to Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, I don't know about you. I think the additions of Max Strus and George Niang, they add a physicality and an intensity that I think was missing from this team in the playoffs. So I'm a little more optimistic about what version of the Cavs you'll see come playoff time this year.
Yeah, I'll go a little further than that, Dave. I think the way Jared Allen has really upped his game, and obviously, you know, the Mobley injury had a lot to do with that. But I think, you know, the way Allen has really stepped up and become more physical. I mean, it's pretty well documented what happened to the Cavs last year in the playoffs. You know, they got beaten up by the Knicks. It was not pretty, and I know that sat with a lot of those guys during the offseason, and it sat with JB Bickerstaff. And I think, to your point, Dave, they did a nice job of going out and get a couple guys that, you know, are no nonsense players. I think both Strus and Niang, you know, have that background, and you know, as we learned early in training camp this year, you know, they're as talkative as anybody on this team too. It's a young team. It's kind of a quiet team in some ways. And I think that infusion of energy and a little bit of toughness has gone a long way. But listen, it's at the end of the day, this is about Donovan Mitchell, and this is about how far he wants to take this team. I think, and this is not a knock on Darius Garland or Evan Mobley by any means, but I think we saw when those guys were out what Donovan Mitchell can do. And he has played as well as he's played in his entire career. He's averaging 28 points a game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. He's had career highs in every single department. And I think he genuinely seems to be happy here. I think he realizes that, last year was embarrassing to both him and the Cavs, the way they played in the postseason. But I can't get too far away from what Perkins said. It is all about what this team does in the postseason. And I think, not only getting to the playoffs this year, but getting out of one round and maybe even in 2 rounds now is what the bar should be for this Cavs team.
Yeah, and to your point, Donovan Mitchell with the ball in his hands, he's elite. You saw minus 2 of your 3 best players. You saw just how good he is.